All right, so I've got the next project here. Picked this up about a month ago, and hopefully going to start working on it this weekend. This is the John Deere 314. This one in particular is about a 1974 model. It's got the hydraulic, PTO shaft, and a hydrostatic transmission, but none of that really matters as we're going in a very different direction than a lawnmower build. So last weekend, I picked up this here. This is a 2000 Honda TRX 300, and it's going to be my donor vehicle, pulling the complete front end off of it, control arms, brakes, shocks, wheels, and tires, and then potentially pulling the rear end off. Depends on the overall axle width. The front of the John Deere, I'll be welding the control arm brackets to the outside of the frame, and this frame on the John Deere is 14 inches wide, whereas on the Honda is about 6.5 inches wide. So there's going to be definitely a gain in overall width. So I'm hoping and relatively doubting that I'll be able to use this rear axle just due to it already being a little bit too thin for what I'll be looking for. I'm going to try an old trick and turn the rear wheels around, since these are able to mount both forward and in or front to back and back to front due to the flat mating surface. So that might be able to give me enough width to match the back end and the front end on the John Deere. So we're going to go ahead and start getting the John Deere taken apart. I've already done some preliminary measurements, but now we just got to get to work to getting this thing apart and seeing what we actually have to work with.
can't do nothing with ya.
Alright, so we got her all disassembled. That's what I've got to work with. Decent amount of space, some light rust repair to be made. But I've got two vents on either side, which are pretty nice. Provide good cooling. Massive opening in the front end here. And bloody on top. So we'll see what I can go ahead and figure out what kind of engine put in here. And we'll just keep going from there. I mean, the engine is going to be about the last thing I take care of. First thing to take care of is getting the front suspension on this bad boy cut off and mounted over here. I am kind of worried because the shocks, I'm probably going to have a penetration through these side panels here. I might utilize the exhaust port that's on this one and try to copy it onto the other side as well, and then have a bar that comes out of it and allows me to mount the shock directly here, so it doesn't interfere with anything. I don't have to chop things up. We will see and cross the bridge when we get there. All right, so I've got the suspension up, and I've got it sitting here on zip ties, holding everything in place because it seems to be working incredibly well for mocking up where I like it. So there she is. It actually looks like the panels, this bad boy here, will fit surprisingly well because look at how they mount. They mount about right there, that little tab. So it looks like we'll only have to open up that current air slot a little bit more to accept the springs. So that's pretty freaking cool. Won't have to modify anything that too much. Won't actually take away from the original design. So I really like it. See if we can get a front shot here. Yeah, that sucker is going to be wide. Let me go ahead and throw a tape measure on it real quick and see what we got. All right, here it is. The ultimate John Deere front end. Everything's held on with zip ties. We're looking at roughly 50 inches wide in the front end here, and everything fits perfectly. Couldn't be a better fit. The frame just tall enough. Once I get everything welded in place properly, it'll look absolutely phenomenal. So there we go. I might upgrade the shocks to something a little bit longer so I can get better travel, smoother ride, but so far, this is what we got. So, absolutely fantastic. The guy I bought this four-wheeler from had already done some work on it. Started with a brand new set of brakes, which is pretty cool. So got some new brakes on there, at least in the calipers, and you don't have to take care of that. Engine's going to be mounted in the same spot, right about there. And then we're going to have a jack shaft roughly here where the brake pedal currently is. And then we'll send it to the rear end, which is going to get a full custom, not full suspension, but solid rear end with a triple bearing cassette for it. So there we go. Thank y'all for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode for the actual welding and installation of the front end.